Good morning. Today we are going to discuss about web services. First of all, what is a service? Service is a software functionality. Then what is web? Web is nothing but internet. Web service is a software functionality that can be accessed through internet. Web service is a method of communication between computers over internet. We can access services using laptop or desktop or mobile using internet. Internet is called World Wide Web. Accessing a software functionality, that is a service, through internet is called web service. Many services can be integrated to build software applications using service-oriented architecture. We can access web services using web browser and URL. URL is the address and web browser is the browser with which we can access the service. Observe the diagram. It contains interconnection of computers using internet. There are many systems. Some systems are treated as service providers. Some systems are service consumers. Web services are software functionalities. Service providers develop software functionalities and makes them available in web servers. These services can be accessed by using internet. So they are treated as web services. The web services can be used in building applications by service consumers. The web services are developed in different technologies. These services communicate using Web Service Description Language, WSDL. Service providers develop software functionalities using different technologies. For example, one service provider creates a software functionality in Java language. Other service provider creates a service in .NET. Another service provider can create a service in PHP. Another service provider can create a service in C language, etc. A service consumer can combine all these services available in different technologies to build some application using some protocols with the help of service-oriented architecture. The figure shows the services created in many technologies that are available. The services available in different technologies can be integrated together to build an application. Web services are the prominent technology for implementing SOA systems, service-oriented architecture systems. Web services follows language-independent way of communication. So, services developed in different languages can communicate with each other and can combine to build an application. For example, a service developed in Java can communicate with another Java service as well as .NET service and PHP service via a common interface. Any service can communicate with any other service over internet using WSDL, Web Service Description Language. The common communication media is Web Service Description Language between services of same kind or different kind. So the services are platform independent. Components of web service architecture. See the architecture. It contains service provider, service requester and service registry. Service provider creates services and publishes the details of service in service registry. Service requester searches the service registry for service and finds the location of service. Once it gets the location, it uses the service. This procedure is just like service-oriented architecture only. Let us explain the components one by one. First one is service provider. The service provider is the developer of service. The service developers creates services and makes them available for others to use. To advertise about the services, the service provider publishes details of service in a service registry. The details are like name of the service, location of the service contract, nature of the service, how to use it, and the fees charged. All the details are published in a common language called WSDL, Web Service Description Language. The service registry is called UDDI, means Universal Description, Discovery and Integration. Service registry. Service providers publishes details of services in service registry. The service registry is called UDDI, that is Universal Description, Discovery and Integration. Service registry contains metadata of all available independent services that can be offered to consumers. The description of the service means name of the service, its location, nature of the service, contract details and fees charged, etc., which are available in WSDL, that is Web Service Description Language. The service consumer who wanted to use a service searches in service registry to check whether the service is available or not. If the service is available in service registry, it gets the details of service along with location of the service and obtain binding information for further processing. Service consumer or service requester. The service requester first searches for the service in service registry. If the service is published in service registry, it gets the URL of the service along with other details. The service requester then communicates with service provider with the information it got from UDDI, that is service registry. The service provider may give permission to use service as per the contract details. Then the service requester may utilize the service in building its applications. This procedure is said to be binding. See the diagram. The sequence of operations shown with serial number. The first operation is service provider creates service and publishes the details of service in service registry. The second operation is service requester searches for service in service registry. Third operation is service requester gets details of service from service registry. Fourth operation is service requester communicates with service provider to get consent to utilize the service. Fifth operation is service provider gives the permission as per the contract details to the service requester, and the service requester binds the service to develop its application. This is the procedure of using service web services. This is same as service oriented architecture. Web service invocation using SOAP messages. SOAP, SOAP, Simple Object Access Protocol. It is an XML based platform independent messaging protocol used for communicating between service consumer and service provider. The service consumer and service provider communicates using SOAP messages. The consumer requests the provider for the grant of permission to use the service in the form of a SOAP message. The provider gives permission to the consumer in the form of SOAP message. Then the consumer binds the service in building the application. So, overall, the language used to publish details of service is WSDL, Web Service Description Language. The language used to communicate between service consumer and service provider is XML in the form of SOAP messages.